people are blinded by what they want. So therefore they lose sight of what they value. The reason why I made this podcast is because there's a lot of things that I like to do and even want to do, but there are things that I value more than what I desire or want to do. And I think that's very, very important. And most people need to make that distinction, make that very, very clear distinction that, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I feel like doing, right? Wanting and feeling are of the feminine value, right? They are not masculine. They're not a masculine let's just say trait. They're not doing those and living by those things is not a masculine thing to do, right? So, like I mentioned, there's a lot of things I'd like to do and maybe even want to do, but there's things that I value more than I desire. And that is exactly what it is. Like I said, you can't neglect the things that you want, right? I want to go ahead and sleep in longer than what I should, right? I want to go ahead and play video games, right? I want to go ahead and neglect the work that I know I need to do, right? But what I value is all those things. I value not neglecting the work. I value doing the work that is meaningful to me. I value choosing one habit that is important, that is beneficial to me over playing video games, right? I value I value putting in the work and starting my day productively more than I do, more than I want to go ahead and lay down for an extra few hours, right? So those are the things that you must evaluate within your life, right? Right? Are you doing certain things that conflict with what you value? And if you are, you might need to ask yourself, do I really value this or do I not really value this, right? And if, like I said, then from there you're going to be able to make your own decision, your own action for your life that is going to dictate your behavior long term, right? And like I had mentioned, the reason why most people don't live by what they value and only do what they want is because they aren't fully clear with what they value, right? They don't have these things clearly defined, right? I would say there's a lot of different things that people run into that are things that maybe even, like I said, maybe they value or maybe they already have it clear within their mind from time and time again, right? It pops up just as often as their thoughts pop up, which is fairly often, right? But they don't have it clearly defined, so therefore they still make decisions that contradict the ways in which they think, the ways in which they've always think, the ways in which they are, and the ways in which they strive to be, right? So the question I have for you is this: what do you value? There should be a bunch of things in which you value, right? Maybe you value loyalty. Maybe you value hard work. Maybe you value spending time with your family. Maybe you value your focus. Maybe you value your health, right? Based off of all these things, look at your daily actions that you're taking. And are those things aligned with what you value or are they not? And more importantly, do you value things higher than what you want and what you're currently doing? That is a very, very important question for you to go ahead and ask yourself, because if you aren't clear, then you're going to lose sight and you're going to constantly be doing things in which you want to do, but there are going to be better things in which you value to do that are not being as prioritized as the things in which you want, right? And like I said, that's where the conflict comes in, because then you'll be able to realize this is how I view my own life, right? I've went through this, and I'm going through this, right? Where I decide to do things that I want to do instead of the things in which I value. Then at the end of the day, when I don't have the result in which I would like, I think to myself and I say, what the fuck is going on? Truly, what's going on, man? There's something wrong. I feel like there's something wrong. There's something more to this, right? I should be doing more. I should be more. My potential should be more than my present moment, right? I should be living out my potential more than I am right now, right? And like I said, I would love for you to go ahead and avoid that position as much as you possibly can, because truly it's not a good feeling. And yeah, so like I said, the question I have for you, what do you value, man? In order to avoid that position that I just had told you about, right? The position that I'm in, the position that I've been in, and the position that you might be in right now. The way you avoid that is by being clear with what you value. So the question I have for you is this: what do you value? And more importantly, what are the things that are worth valuing and that are valuable? And maybe this is characteristics, maybe it's your morals, maybe it's certain actions, right? These are all things that must be evaluated when it comes to what you value. And like I said, based off, you should only act, if you're a man of character, if you're a person of character, you should only act based on what you truly value. Because if you're not acting based on what you truly value, what are you acting on? And if you're acting solely based on what you want to do, maybe there are better things in which you can do that you aren't doing. And that, like I said, that right there, that is an area of opportunity, right? Where you could potentially see yourself in a situation where you're saying, I could be more than I am right now. Why aren't I what I am? Why aren't I more than what I am right now? And like I said, it's going to break down. It's going to break down into that, right? It's going to break down into the daily action. It's going to break down into the weekly action, suggesting that maybe you are not choosing the best habits. Maybe you're not acting out the best characteristics of what you value, right? Maybe you aren't fully living up to the morals and values that you truly view as paramount within your own mind, right? And if that's the case, you can fix it, and you're going to be the only person to fix it, right? You're the only person that can truly hold you accountable, and you're the only person that is truly responsible for your own actions, right? There's no one in your day-to-day life is going to say, hey, for a second, are you truly are living within your values, right? Are you truly making a decision based on what you value, or are you making the decision based on what you want, right? That is why I'm here, right? I want to be able to give you that reminder. I want to be able to give you this thought. So when you go into doing something in which you want, even though like I said, there's plenty of things that I want, and I'll go ahead and list them in a minute, right? There's plenty of things that I want. I truly want. But just because I want it doesn't mean that that's a good enough reason for me to go ahead and do it. There are better reasons in which I shouldn't do it than there are reasons in which I would want to do it, right? Like I said, if you're living based off of solely the way that you feel, and solely based off of the way in the way in which you want certain things, you might not be living the best life you possibly can live. You might not be living as fulfilled as you possibly could live. So with that being said, eventually, if you keep doing these things, you're going to keep wondering why you do not have as much as what you would like. You're always going to have that internal conflict. It is always going to be the end result. It is always going to rise up to the top once again. And you're going to be saying, man, what the hell is going on? Why? And the reason is going to come back down to your daily actions. Are you doing and are you acting like a person of character? And I would say, sadly, for the most part, most people aren't. Most people are solely swayed by the things in which they want and the ways in which they feel. That is the outcome of all the decisions in which they make. And therefore, they are a culmination of all the things in which they want, instead of a culmination of all the things in which they value. Like I said, that is the difference between somebody that you admire and somebody that you truly do not, right? Like I said, I want to eat ice cream every single day. I want to eat ice cream every single day, man. But I don't, because I value my health and my body. I value these things. I value my mind. I value my testosterone, right? So I have to sacrifice it, even though that is something that I want, even though that is something that I did for a long period of time. I used to have ice cream literally as much as I possibly can, or I could back then, right? But I had to make that sacrifice for the most part, right? I had to make that sacrifice because I valued something more than what I had wanted in the present moment. And like I said, it is very, very hard for you to be mindful of this. It takes a level of willpower and self-discipline that truly most people do not have developed. That is the sad, unfortunate reality that we all exist within, right? But at the end of the day, that is where character is made. Character is made when you decide to take an action as opposed to taking another action solely based off of focusing on what you value as opposed to what you want, having the most important thing in mind as opposed to having only solely what you want.